Sanjay Kumar, till now, 6 p.m. numbers are not out yet by the Election Commission. They're still trying to collate in terms of voter turnout. Better than possibly what was in the first phase, but still not matching up when it comes down to the first phase of election, and the South, as usual, turning out way more than the North.
Preeti, I think these are provisional figures. And I think the big problem when we keep saying that the turnout is low, and we start giving lots and lots of interpretation to that, is that one, the benchmark which we are using all the time is 2019 election. And this is an election which witnessed the highest turnout. National turnout was 68%. If you try and compare it with, 2009 Lok Sabha elections, 2000 Lok Sabha election, it would start looking decent. So the benchmark is very high. And why should we expect that every election will witness? I'm saying that, yes, we should expect, but why a lot of different interpretations should be given? At least I would try and restrain from doing that. The turnout has gone down, and these are the following reasons for the turnout going down. And this may be this may be the expected electoral outcome. So the benchmark is very high. Let's wait for the turnout figures to come up. Maybe it is a 1 or 2, 3% lower compared to 2019. It doesn't make any difference, or doesn't give any indication pro-incumbency, anti-incumbency, etc.
No, that's true. And Rajdeep, for somebody who's covered quite a few elections, what does it look like to you on ground? You've been in Andhra. The phase 1, if you look at voter turnout, was quite abysmal. Phase 2, the EC still to release the numbers, but will not stack up anywhere close to 2019. But Sanjay Kumar says it doesn't quite matter, means absolutely nothing.
Well, look, I have always been reluctant also to look at turnout as an indication of which way the wind is blowing. I think we've seen elections where voter turnout has been low and the incumbent has won, and vice versa. So I am reluctant to go into this voter turnout leading to decisions on who is winning and who is losing. But Preeti, what is very clear, and I think Sanjay Kumar's answer said it all, 2019 was an election where the voter was charged up. That enthused voter is clearly missing. I use the word thakavat. There's a sense of fatigue. I keep repeating, the last 5 years have been tough on most Indians. Sitting in Noida studios, we won't understand agrarian distress. Sitting in Noida studios, we won't understand how people grappled with COVID and lockdown in many parts of the country. How micro and small enterprises have struggled. So I think there is a voter who has a sense of fatigue and is not enthused by any side at the moment. And therefore, perhaps in some parts, added to the heat, is not going to the polling booth with the same energy and frenzy that he or she did in 2014 and certainly in 2019. To that extent, you could argue this is much more of a normal Indian election. The turnout figures are generally around what they used to be, 60% in North India, there'll be 70% and plus in Eastern India, and they'll be in that mid-60s range in Southern India. We are witnessing a normal election. And because we are witnessing a normal election, we are trying to deduce from that who's winning and who's losing. I'm not going down that road. All I will say is I don't see a charged up, frenzied voter at the moment on all my travels across the country.
Well, and I would concur. And one thing that Sanjay ji yesterday on the show did say is, at least one thing he will confirm, there's no wave. Whatever side, there is no wave. Sanjay ji, you still stick to that, right?
Absolutely. Okay. There's no wave. What Rajdeep has mentioned, the interest in election is slightly less. And 2019 was a very, very charged election. This is not a charged election.
All right, so this is not a charged election. I'm also going to cut across to our election intelligence dashboard to get a basic perspective on how the North is voting vis-a-vis the South and what it could actually mean, if there are any inferences at all. But Rajat Sethi, if this is a normal election, then most normal elections turn to local issues, seat-by-seat election. That's not something which possibly the BJP would want.
Preeti ji, normal elections also mean that whosoever has better organizational strength tends to do better. The party which has cadre base, which has the base to pull out voters on the day of the polling, tends to win. When you use that metric, there is only one party which can at least claim that it has a pan-India aggressive ground cadre strength to actually pull out the voters and ensure that they reach the polling booth. So from that perspective, I would say that it is advantage BJP. However, I do agree that yes, at least as of now, these numbers are very, very provisional, let me tell you, because the polling timing has also increased in this phase. It was till 5 p.m. In the first phase, has gone up till 6 p.m. And plus, people are still in the queue. I'm also receiving reports that, wherever you enter into the queue and the polling is being delayed for one reason or the other, the polling is still continuing. So you will see this number go up. But however, the big picture, big takeaway is that from phase one, things have at least heated up a little bit. Phase two, we are seeing greater polling. And I hope that in the interest of democracy, we will see greater polling in the coming phases as well.
But but I'll tell you what, because the number is also camouflaging a bit. Yes, it's gone up since phase one, and we can see that in the cumulative figure that is coming in, at least the number that is coming in till, if you're looking at the number that is coming in till 5 p.m. So, but having said that, if we just break it down, and Ashutosh, I want to bring you in on that, because if you look at the state of Uttar Pradesh, and I'll come back to the state of Rajasthan as well, Uttar Pradesh is quite abysmal, because if you look at the turnout, Uttar Pradesh stands at, and there the number comes in 53% till 5 p.m. and only it's seemingly coming in from 2 or 3 states, because let's look at the state of Meerut, the constituency of Meerut, where it is standing at a 55%, which was 64% the last time around in 2019. Mathura, it's 47%. Would you think it's a tad bit worrying in terms of the voter percentage where North is concerned? Because Kerala and Karnataka doing way better than at least these numbers.
See, I think, Preeti, the two things which has to be understood, that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tried to emotionalize voters from the day one itself. And if because of him, if there is no emotional question with the voters and voters are not enthused about going to the polls and voting, does it tell a story? I think it does tell a story, because in Madhya Pradesh, if you look at the figures, in 2019, the percentage was 71.2. This time it is still 54%. This can go to another 2-3%. Rajasthan, 66 last time. This time is 59. It can go to 63. Maharashtra, the trouble state for the BJP, 61 last time and 53.51. This time, second phase I'm talking about. So the issue is why the voters are not going to the polls and polling and voting. That has to be understood. So is it because that the voters are there is a fatigue among the voters, or the voters are not enthused by the emotional appeals of the Prime Minister on the communal lines? On the communal lines, this is something which started from the day one. So if that is not happening, it is a worrisome for the opposition as well as for the government both.
Right. But Ashutosh, the voting percentage in phase one had already dropped before any speech of the Prime Minister. But having said that, Rajdeep, you wanted to make,
No, Preeti, just 10 seconds. The Prime Minister attacked on the Congress manifesto, calling it a Muslim League's manifesto.
Okay.